Hey everybody, welcome to the Miss Camay Show. I am your host, Miss Camay, and I am so excited about my interview today. For those of you that know, I am interviewing the infamous Art Mayshack. Welcome to the Miss Camay Show, Art.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Thanks for having me. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to have you on the show, Art. We've worked together for many years. We've worked on several projects together. You have photographed me. You did my engagement shoot, my title shoot. We did Miss Camay's Black Tie Fashion Gala together. We've so many things over the years, and this is an exclusive interview for you, actually.
Yeah, it's one of my first ones, actually. Yeah.
You're going to answer all my questions, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I will answer all your questions. Be kind to me.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know, Art is the CEO of Artwear, which is a plus-size fashion designer line. He's also a photographer. And recently he has broken into the pageant world and became the official photographer and videographer for the Miss Plus World pageant out in Houston back in August last month. And we have done a lot of things together. Art has been a sponsor of mine. He's also, like I said, done photo shoots with me. We've done fashion shows together. And I wanted to bring him on the show today and give my audience an opportunity to meet the man behind the lens, because we always see you behind the lens. We never see you in front of the camera.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I like. I like being behind the camera.
Yes.
Not so much in front of it.
So let's start our interview off. Tell our audience, where were you born? Where did you grow up? A little bit about your life, prior to the plus size world of fashion.
Okay, well, I was born in Louisiana back in 1970. Lived in Louisiana for about 9 years. And from Louisiana, my pops moved me up to Seattle. And I basically grew up in the Seattle area, just north of Seattle. And from there, I went to school, got out of school. And the first job I got out of school was in Denver, Colorado. So I moved to Denver for about 2 years. And from there, I was looking for another job and found one in Texas. And here I am in Texas. And first of all, my real job, I work in an oil refinery. I work in the oil and gas field and doing the, photography and the plus size design and all that. That was like my side gig that I did just, for fun and stuff like that. And that's where I am. And, 4 years later here, I'm still doing it, both of them. So
tell us about the beautiful city of Houston.
I love it here. I wouldn't even move back home. I love it here, because back in Seattle, you get 4 seasons. All the 4 seasons are there. But down here in Houston, I think you get 2.5 seasons. You get definitely a long summer and a little bit of a spring. Not really a winter. Winter lasts 2 weeks, and then it's over. And then it's time to start warming back up. But I love it here. I love the people here. I mean, everything about it, I love it. I wouldn't move. And if I did move, I'd probably move to Colorado. But other than that, I love Texas.
Nice. And so let's go back to, you shared with us that you work in an oil refinery, and that's kind of like your day job. So when did you get into the plus size community? How did that happen for you?
Basically, I had a friend that, she needed to go to an event. She's a plus size girl, really plus size, with larger hips and things like that. And she needed something to wear, and she was kind of stressing over it. And I don't know, after we had that conversation, for some reason that evening, I just thought, well, I'll start making those kind of clothes. So I started thinking of a plan. Well, how do you go about doing that? How does the whole plan work? How would I go about doing so? Thought of a plan, and just one step at a time, I started just putting it together. I knew the first thing was I had to get some fabric. Then I can't sew, so I had to get someone to sew, whatever I had in my mind. So I draw some sketches, And when I get the sketches drawn up, I want to bring it to life. So I go buy the fabric, and then I talk to my seamstress, and I, I might have a model in mind. So I'd get her measurements, just so when I got the piece done, we can do a photo shoot. So then I'd give the drawing and the measurements to my seamstress, and she'd bring it to life for me. Then I'd find the model and want to, do a photo shoot with her in it. But at the beginning, I wasn't doing photography, and I knew right away that I'm not going to pay a photographer every time that I made a design, a piece
Right.
to put on wall. I just didn't want to. So from there, I bought me a camera, and I just started teaching myself how to use it, how to use the DSLR cameras. And that was a learning curve, but now, 4 years later, here I am. I know how to use a camera good. I know the language.
Right.
So and that's basically how I do it, and I just keep doing that. And from there, I just do fashion shows, or I used to. I don't really do them as much anymore, but that's kind of how it goes.
Okay, and so why plus size? We have, mainstream fashion, which, probably years past have really dominated the fashion market.
Yeah,
And go ahead.
Mainly that was the thing. Mainly fashion and fashion shows was to straight size, women. That's what it was catered to. But being here in Texas or in any of these southern states, it's everywhere, but mainly down here in these southern states, there's a lot of plus size women. With the that is just they're full figured everywhere on every part of the world. There's full figured and curvy. So just being around that, and kind of that's even like that's kind of the ladies that I dated. So with that, that's all I know. I really I didn't know anything else, so I just went with that. And you didn't see much of it because all of them, when I started, all the clothes for plus size women were frumpy, and a lot of the designers wouldn't even touch plus size. They just because they had a bunch of excuses for it. Not really excuses, but some of them were valid, but there has to be someone to stick their neck out and just go for it for them, and
Right.
I thought I could just put this, because women are all plus size, straight size, they all got the same kind of emotions and feelings and things like that. They want to feel cute, and when they put something, they want to walk in a room and have eyes on them. And so I thought, why don't I just make beautiful pieces and put it on some curves and let them feel beautiful and just start that movement. And then when I started else, and I just, I started it, and then you just start seeing it everywhere. Everybody started doing it. Even now, some of the bigger companies, they want to dab in a little bit of it, but none of them really go hard at it. There's, I think Christian Siriano, he will definitely make some plus size, even super plus size pieces, which is really cool. He doesn't go full on with it, but he definitely puts pieces out there and markets them and shows that he can do that too, and he will do that, so big ups to him as well. I like his stuff,
Yeah.
He's done it every year, put a piece or two out that's plus size.
So you basically saw the need to
most definitely, and just talking to ladies, and seeing what they're wearing, and they want to, they see the straight side and say, oh, that's cute, I would love to have something like that. They're not going to find it anywhere. They're not going to find that piece anywhere that they can fake, because no one made those, in their size.
Right.
And so that's where I started. I mean, I went to the extremes, with ladies that have, 65, 70-inch hips. I made pieces that would fit ladies like that, and then just all the way across the board. I started with, I wasn't really going to do nothing under the size 14. It was like 14 up to like 26, 28, right up in there. Anything smaller than 14, I said, you can go to any store and get whatever you want. So I'm not going to really, that isn't my thing. So I didn't really go below that.
Right. So let's talk about that a little bit. I've met some of the women that have worked with you, some women who've modeled for you in some artware pieces, or have just done photo shoots with you. And you've traveled all over this country. I mean, from New York to Seattle to California.
Yeah, I've been a lot of places.
Texas, to Florida.
Yes,
I know you did 1426 with Linda Scott Houston out in Florida. You did the cruise out there with her one year. Yeah. And I know you've been out in New York. You actually took some of us I wasn't able to go because of the weather. But I think it was 2016, you were out in New York during Fashion Week. Yeah, you were out there. Of course, Miss Camay's Black Tie Fashion Gala in Seattle, of course.
Yeah, great show, great show. Yeah.
And
I have to say that was one of the best shows I've ever done. You did a great job. That was one of the best ones, and I can say that without offending anyone. You know.
Well, thank you.
I like the way you did shows, and I like the way Linda Scott did shows. So the two of you had some pretty good shows. I've done a few shows, and I really like those two, the way they were put together and done. So yeah.
Nice. I definitely need to bring it back. Definitely.
Need to bring it back. You do another one, I'm going to be there because you know what to do.
Right.
Yeah. Most definitely.
So let's talk about, in the industry, right? We have women, plus size women who want to be models, and they think that it's as easy as having a photo shoot and posting their pictures, across social media platforms. And, they get, so many thousands of likes, and, they call themselves, quote unquote, a model. And so in your opinion, what's your platform? Do you look, are you helping these women with, the whole modeling platform?
Yeah. There's two ways I look at it, because I like to work with models that are really seasoned and know how the whole thing goes. And so when I go to a photo shoot, they know what to do. They're boom, they got their poses down and all that. But then, I get hit with girls that want to, work for my brand, or they want to just start getting into modeling. So when they hit me up, I always go and I check out what have they been doing. I go check them out, and some of them I'll see on their page, all they have is headshots. That does not cut it. I'm just letting you know, if you want to be a model and all you got on your page is headshots, that's not really going to work for anyone looking to have you represent their brand. They want to see the full picture,
Right.
And then, as far as being a model, there's a lot more that goes into it than just taking the pictures and getting it out there. You really got to know how to speak. You got to know how to write, because if you're working for a brand and they ask you to wear their clothes and then they want you to post, they don't want you just to post and just say how, I feel good in this such piece. That's not what I want. I like girls to really do a nice little write-up of it and how it feels. And then also during their write-up, offer encouragement and inspiration to other models that are coming out, not just because some of it, I don't mean to offend anyone, but some of it is like clout chasing. They think they just get on real quick, because you can't just get on and think you're going to get a whole bunch of followers, because to get the followers, it is a lot of work. You got to be very consistent. You can't just hit it once and be gone for 4 weeks and come back with another picture. I'm just sorry, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
The people watching you and that are on social media, you got to stay in front of their face. You got to stay in front of their face with a logo or some sort of saying that you're always about. And that was always my thing. Was when I started, I wanted everyone to always see artware, always see my logo. Everything was just artware, just so is that artware, and you just keep it in their face, whether they get tired of seeing it or not, but they see it,
Right. Right. Good point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then there's just, models that are just starting out. It's a lot more work than, just putting out a picture or two. And then there's some that, that want to put out and they go right into, the nudity part of it. Well, once you once you decide to go that route and start really putting your just being naked out there, not all the way naked, but you know what I mean, the provocative stuff.
Any type of nudity, yeah.
To me, that's a graduated thing you need to go to. If you come straight out the box and you're doing that, what's left? You have nothing else to do. You got people like London Andrews. I'm sure when she started, she does a lot of provocative stuff, but we love it. And it's classy. But when she first started out, she graduated and built her following, and then she started showing that, and that just upped it more and made brands want to work. And then she did it classy. There's a lot of models that do it classy now, and you got to just kind of watch them and emulate them, not just, straight out the box think you're going to come in and show this here, and you might get your little likes or whatever, but then what?
Right.
So, let's see what you look like with your clothes on and all that.
Exactly. Well, and I know from experience, I've done some work for you, and But I'm definitely not, I've never been signed, you know, I've never I've never been published through an agency. And you have, as a model, you have to be extremely versatile, extremely versatile. You have to be
Most
able to,
definitely.
you have to be able to look like a cowgirl, and you have to
Right.
be able to look like, you know, an avant-garde peacock in, you know, full theatrical makeup. You know, you
And
have to
be believable when you're doing it.
and
Not
believable.
not
Yes,
rigid. You got to
yes,
be in it.
yes,
You
and
know?
be believable. Like really walk the walk and talk the talk, right?
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah, yeah,
And
great point.
and then, you know, just with social media, the part about being signed to an agency and all that, you know, with that part of it, yeah, everybody, that's when you start, I think that's what everybody says, they want to get signed. Well, here's the deal. When you get signed, one thing is, I don't feel that you should ever, if you're going to get signed, you shouldn't have to pay anything. If they want you on their team, there's no way you should have to pay to be on our team. I think the way that they should be making money is they bring you on the team and set up the photo shoots and all that. And then when you get jobs, when they get you jobs, that's how they get paid, you know,
Right,
off of that part of it. But
right. They take
I don't
their
know, with
money off
social,
the top.
I don't even think it's that big of a thing just to be signed. To me, when I see someone signed, it doesn't like, oh my gosh, unless it's like I can't even think of one of the big name brands or to get signed to. I can think of a couple, but you know, anyway, that to me, that isn't the real end all, because with social media, you can do it yourself. If you
Right,
want to be a model, you can get on social media, learn how to write, learn how to promote yourself, study the craft. When you post, don't just post and disappear. That just doesn't gonna work. But study the craft, study your poses and all that, and you can really do it yourself without getting signed. And then when you get signed, you know, when they come at you, you'll be ready.
yep.
You know.
Well, and then, you know, from my experience as an entrepreneur and building, you know,
Mm-hmm.
my own brand, as you know as well,
Yeah.
when I'm working for someone else, they're taking a cut, they're taking a percentage. And
Yes.
when I've booked something and I'm working for myself, I'm making 100% of my money. And no
Yep.
one, and I think most importantly, and this is important for me, most importantly, nobody's dictating how I run myself in my business. It's my business,
Right. I
and it's
love
my
that. Yeah.
relationship. Yeah, and it's my relationship with, you know, with my client, to
Yeah.
dictate my terms and, you know, how how they need to be able to work with me. So it's a very different, very different when you are independent and
Right.
like versus when you're signed. So give me two names of two plus size models in the industry right now that are very prevalent, that anybody that's watching our interview, if they were interested in becoming a model or getting into the industry, name two plus size prevalent models who you would suggest that they, you know, go follow and kind of go check out and watch and listen to.
Well, okay. For one, you see one that I work with all the time is Susan Curry. For sure, you know, if you watch what she does and how she writes and everything, when I first started working with her, that's what really got my attention and made me want to work with her. And she's just, I watched her from the beginning, just blossom up to just go. I mean, she really writes and she really goes hard for her brands. You know, she's one of them. Sarah Jane, right here in Houston, Texas, she is awesome as well. She does the exact same thing. She really writes really well. She looks good in the clothes. She wears. She knows how to model. I mean, they both have studied their craft. And then just last week, I shot with a model, to Shara Bradley. She's here in Houston too. And man, when I work with her, she is excellent, because when it was time to get down to it, man, she was ready, and it made my job so much easier. I didn't even have to tell her how to stand, where to put her hands, and as soon as I started clicking, like, she knew every pose. She, like, after this click, she already knew her next pose. Where is in some of my previous shoots, when I start with someone that's new, which is not bad, when I start with someone that
Yeah,
hasn't really done it, I have to almost tell them every 2 or 3 clicks, I need you to give me something different, you know, just a different look. I don't
right,
care if it's an arm or hand, but they initially feel awkward, and you can see it in the way that they stand and the way that they move. But that's where I come in as well, and try to make them feel comfortable and help them, you know, do it. But, you know, those 3 girls, you know, I've worked with all 3 of them quite a bit, and I just love working because they make my job easy, and they also
right,
bring up the creative side in me as well. And, you know,
exactly.
working with you too, you were the exact same way. I mean, look at some of the stuff we put out. It was on. It was so easy. You know, when we did it, we just bam, bam, bam. We got kicked out of the place but by the time we got kicked out of the hotel, man,
We were done.
we were done. We were done. We had already got that in. So, you know, that was great. And I'm not knocking the girls that are just starting. It's just that when you've been doing it as long as me, you just have some sort of expectation, and because I like to get it in there, get it done. And, you know, if you really want to work with me, just come. You don't always have to come with something, because I'm open to like teach you and groom you. But, you know, that's another thing. The girls that are just coming to me, you know, because I pay some of the girls, you know, like Susan and Charlotte and Sarah, when they come, because they're worth it. You know, they're worth it. But you can't come to me when you've never really modeled and expect to be paid and expect for me to give you my clothes just because you worked with me. That's just not going to happen.
Right.
You know,
That's actually,
let them know that.
Right. That's actually a great point. That is a very, very good point. In the modeling industry, you have to know what you're doing when you walk in that door. Even if you've never done it before, you have to know what you're doing. You have had to have done your homework. You have had to have done your research. You have to know what you're doing when you walk in that door.
Yeah. And these three girls that I'm talking about, when they started doing, you know, photo shoots and work for people for free, because that builds up their experience, you know, their portfolio. They knew what to do, so they knew when they went to a shoot, they knew exactly the structure of how it was going to go, and they knew before they even got there, the day before they got there, they were thinking about the poses that they were going to hit, because that's the most important. Give me that look, get into that moment, and give me these poses, you know. And so they're worth it when you know, put some cash in their hand. It's just worth it.
Right.
For someone that's new, and if you're new, you go into a shoot and it's more of a TFP, which they call trade for photos, you know, where the photographer will shoot you and he gets to use your pictures in his portfolio as well as you use the pictures he took of you in your portfolio. And that's how you both build together. You know, when I started with Susan, that's what we did. We just built together. And Tashara was right around that moment as well. Sarah Jane came a little later, but I remember when we all started with Linda Sky, you were around that time too. It was just, at that time, we were just doing photo shoots and now both of them can, you know, they get paid by brands and shoot. They don't just work for free now. They, you know, because of their experience.
Right. And that, you know, again, just a great point about that. You know, and from the legal perspective, from the businesswoman in me, I don't care if you've been doing this for 10 years or if you've been doing this for 10 minutes. If you don't have your terms of whatever it is that you're doing in this industry written down on paper, you are not a professional business and you should not be doing it.
Right.
You absolutely, you need the business aspect of it. You need contracts. If you need help writing contracts, you can definitely reach out to me. It's definitely definitely a consulting service that I offer. But you know, you have got to be a business professional in this industry. You absolutely have to do that. So great point there. So let's talk about you know, people have gossiped and people have, you know, I guess word on the street or rumor on the street about photographers, you know, hitting on their models, or, you know, flirting with their models, or, you know, all that kind of like craziness. And you and I have actually talked about that before. There was a young woman, and I do not remember her name, and I wouldn't mention her name if I remembered, but there was a young woman who reached out to me. She was actually preparing to shoot with you, and she had messaged me privately and asked me, you know, if you were professional, you know, if she could trust you. And so my response to her was, if you are preparing to go shoot with a photographer and you don't feel like you can trust the photographer, then you should not be shooting with that photographer. First and foremost.
Thank you. First and
foremost. Secondly, if you are, you know, really have concerns, you really want to do the shoot, you know, and you really have concerns, don't go alone. Take a friend with you. Take somebody with you. I mean, it's so simple, right?
It's so simple. Yeah, because I mean, exactly. Because I mean, here's my take on it. Okay.
Well, let me ask you a question. Hold on, let me ask you a question.
Okay, oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. I'm listening.
So, you know, when I asked her, you know, in regards to Mr. Mayshack, he is extremely professional. I have worked with him in several different platforms, in several different capacities, and he has never been appropriate. He has never been unprofessional. He has never, made any appropriate comments, or, he has never been inappropriate in any way at all whatsoever. And I know other women that he has worked with that share my same experience. And I was, because I know you and I've worked with you in so many different capacities, I was a little surprised, but understood, why this woman was reaching out to me. And so, give me, I guess, your take on that. What do you, not that we have to validate the haters or validate the naysayers, and the gossip or, anything that's been said, but what's your perspective on that particular detail about being the photographer and working with these women? And, so I guess sometimes it does happen. There are photographers that, have an ulterior motive or a hidden agenda behind a photo shoot that they're doing. So what's your perspective on that?
Well, okay. First of all, it's probably not going to be what everyone wants to hear, but okay. People like to say, okay, you have a business. I have a photography business. Oh, you cannot be sleeping with the models. You can't be doing that. That's just bad business. Okay. But in every genre, in every business, movies, TV, all that stuff, it definitely happens. And it ain't just the photographer or the director hitting on the girl and the girl just happens to fall in bed with him. No, they come in and they're also willing to be, be part of that, And just like, it happens. It happens. I'm still a man. And if, I've never really done it, but I'm just speaking myself and other photographers. It does happen. How else do we meet people? And, if there's a way before, because before you even shoot someone, you kind of have conversations and all of that, and you kind of know the feel, but it happens. And so I don't like call it taboo that, a model sleeps with a photographer. For me, it's not taboo. It just isn't, because then if she does, she does. And that's the route they take, and then they deal with whatever comes after that. Because after you do it, there's either good things that come after, you keep on moving, or there's things, that he's done with you or she's done with you or whatever. That happens.
Right. But, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be in a photo shoot or be a model to have that kind of interaction with somebody.
Exactly. And just like you said, if you are serious about it and that's not part of your gig, you can tell by just talking to the person before you go shoot with them. And if you don't have someone to come with you, then what is your backup plan if things start going south, or if he wants to get too frilly? At least have something with you to protect yourself, or be prepared just to walk out, or bring your friend, bring your boyfriend. Because I invite you to bring your boy. The last shoot I did, the girl brought her boyfriend, and he enjoyed watching it. You can bring a real photographer is going to let you do that. Bring your friend, bring a friend with you, bring your boyfriend, your husband, or whatever, and get that content and get it done. But it's not really rocket science if you do not want that happening. And, okay, if you're going to do a boudoir shoot, where you're going to be kind of taking your clothes off and you don't feel comfortable with that photographer, you damn well better be bringing somebody with you, and if you really feel uncomfortable, then you just don't do it. There's other photographers out there who are just as good and ain't going to make you feel that uncomfortable. Otherwise, bring somebody with you. And that kills a whole bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
But this whole thing, go ahead.
Just first rule of thumb, you ladies, gentlemen, because it's not, gender bias, right? It happens to men.
Right. Really, it isn't. No.
It happens to men and women. Conduct yourself as a business professional, act like a business professional, be professional. And if the person that you're working with, on the photographer side too, you could have a woman come in and, try to get a shoot for free or try to get this for free. And, so if you, oh, sure. So if you act like a business professional and you behave and conduct yourself as a business professional, they are going to act accordingly, or it's like the laws of the universe will not allow it to happen. It just won't work, right?
I am 100% with you. If you go in there with the mindset that I'm here to get this work done, it won't happen. They can even make trying to speak that language to you, but you're going to be prepared to even just shut it down. Let's get this done so I can get back to my house, to my kids, or whatever. I'm just here for one thing, not. And if you're there going kind of lollygag, or you think he's cute, or some things might happen that you can't it happened. The reason we're talking about it is because it happens. It ain't like it, you know, it's on both ways. Like you said, it ain't gender bias. It, you know,
Yeah.
there's females that come to the photographers and want to lock them in, and so they're gonna, you know, get that, do whatever they do, and she thinks she's gonna get photo shoots forever from him, you know. So it goes both ways, you know.
Yeah,
So I'm not like
that does never happen.
so when people, well, you know, when people say, oh, you can't be see what the model's doing that, I'm like, I built this, I can do whatever the heck I want to do. It's not like that's what I do, but if I want to, and okay, no, I won't even go there. I'll leave that alone. But yeah, I can do whatever I want to do as far as that, you know, and I'm respectful. I'm not disrespectful to women or nothing like that, but if you see someone that you're attracted to, I'm still a man. If she's, you know, beautiful, and I know she's not married, I could tell her she's beautiful and all that, and it reciprocates that way, like, you know, like that. I'm just not against all that rules. The rules. There's no rules.
Right. But at the end of the day, this is a business.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. It always is. I've never really. I'm just speaking from things that I've heard, but because I've always gone into it with business, because one, I think it's just because of my age a little bit. I'm not, sex right now to me is not the number one priority thing. And seeing all these girls, it's not the number one priority thing for me, because once you do it, then what?
It's business. It's business. So when you're a business professional and you're,
most
you know,
definitely,
you're conducting business, you're conducting business, period.
Number one, that is number one for me, right? You know, number one. And that's why you say you can, and I tell anyone, you can contact any girl you see on my platforms and ask them about me. And they're not going to tell you anything bad, because I've never even approached them like that. Never.
Right.
And that's all about business.
That's really a great point. In closing, I want to make that point. When you go to shoot with a photographer, when you go to work with a photographer, if you're doing a video, you know, video shoot or a photography shoot, call their references, ask them for references. Ask them for references.
Yes.
You know, that's a great tell way of, you know, really doing your research. Again, you know, going back to what I said, doing your homework, doing your research.
They shouldn't get offended by it. I welcome you to do that on me. If they're getting offended by you calling other models and asking that, there's a problem.
Yeah, there's a problem.
There's a problem. So
we're running a couple minutes over in our interview. I mean, we could really honestly have an interview and talk for at least an hour. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
And you were worried you weren't going to have anything to say, right?
Yeah, I still feel like we're just getting started. Oh, wow. Okay.
So in closing, just real quick, what 3 pieces of advice would you give to a plus size woman who wants to, you know, transition into the modeling industry? What three key pieces of advice would you tell her?
Have a plan and stick to it. Be true to yourself, and make consistency a priority. And whatever you do, you've got to be consistent, because if you're not consistent, no one's going to see or remember you. And the rest will follow. If you have a plan and you stay consistent and be true to yourself, everything else will fall in place. If you say, I'm going to do a photo shoot, do your photo shoots, keep doing those photo shoots and video shoots, and stay true to yourself. You won't get in those jams with photographers, because you have respect for yourself and staying true to yourself, and stay consistent. And work on your craft. Work on your craft, man.
Yeah. That's so good, Art. That's so great.
Don't do that to me. Yes, okay. All right.
So, how can people find you? Where can they connect with you out on social media?
Here you can go. All you got to do is go to Google and type in Artwear, ARTTWEAR. Just type in Artwear, or you just go to Instagram. Just type in Artwear on any kind of social media platform. Type in the word Artwear with 2 T's, and you're gonna see stuff pop up. Google, Instagram, Facebook.
Just Google you, right? Just Google you?
Yeah, just Google me. Just Google Artwear or Art Mayshack, and you're going to see things pop up, and it's going to lead you to where you want to go. Or, you know, and if you want to shop artwear, then you go to artwear.com, which is funny because a lot of people they ask me, well, where can I buy these items? It just seems to me like everybody knows you just throw a .com behind, and I put it in a lot of my posts, but put a .com behind artware, and you're going to go straight to my website, and you'll see
Nice.
my stuff there,
Nice.
artware.com.
Artware.com. Wonderful,
Right.
wonderful, wonderful. Such
Yeah.
great wisdom, such great, great advice, great direction given by Art Mayshack, CEO of
Thank you.
Artware,
Yes.
photographer, videographer. He's doing amazing, amazing things in the plus size community. He is really, really an advocate for us. I'm so grateful to know you, Art, and I'm so grateful for the business that we've done
Thank
together.
you. Great to know you too.
Yes,
You've done a lot of work, so.
it's always a pleasure working with you. I'm super excited for the future. You know, May 2020 is the wedding, so you got that
I'll be there.
coming up.
I will be there. I might not. Yeah, I will be there for sure.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank
We'll
you
have
so
a good
much.
time.
Yes, of course.
Thank you for having me on here. It's been great. The time just flew by. I'm telling
I
you.
know.
I didn't know it was going to be like this, but man.
We'll have to have you again. Is that what you're saying? You want another interview?
Yeah. We can do it again for sure.
Okay.
It was great. It was great.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.
Right.
You guys, you've been watching the Miss Camay Show exclusive interview with Art Mayshack, CEO of Artware. Thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. We will see you next week, same place, same time. Have a fabulous, fabulous night, you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.